Hello and welcome back to Farm of the Last Promise 0% Growths. I'm joined once again with LG. Or by
Hey,
LG.
I'm back.
He is indeed back. In this episode, we'll be tackling Chapter 21 of this game, where we get to see a few interesting things. Notably, there is a recruitable unit in this map named Risk, who can be recruited with Ben, which is why he's being brought along. Ben is also just a competent combat unit still. There is also a turn floor to this map. Otherwise, we would just fly Ben over, dance him, and then kill the boss in turn 2. So because of the turn floor, most of this map is spent doing self-improvement while also clearing the way. Mostly for self-improvement, but also for reliability purposes. Although this map in general is not what I would call reliable. We get a familiar face from Chapter 12 rejoins us as well. LG, do you want to go over Levion?
Yeah. Paladin got access to a lot of good weapons he can use and really good stats. What else is there to say?
What else is there to say? He has A-rank swords, A-rank axes, C-rank lances, which is worse than Howard's weapon ranks. And with the Ethosphere, he cannot rescue Anakin.
That unit bench then.
Levion's main weakness is that he only has, I believe, 16 speed. It's either 16 or 15, which is worse than or tied with Liam, and Liam has stopped doubling most generics at this point. I say that as he was doubling a generic with a killer bow and one-rounding with it, but we don't need to talk about that. Siegfried is force deployed on this map, otherwise he would not be here. However, he would probably still be deployed just for this rescue. There are a couple small side objectives in this map. One of them is securing a few droppable items, one of which is a speed wing on a sage, one of which is a specific weapon that you'll be seeing later on. And one of them is, again, recruiting Risk, who is a sword master who would be pretty helpful. Rejoining us on turn 7, because there's not going to be enough time to talk about them, are 4 units. Well, not rejoining us, in this case joining us, Liquid, who is a berserker who has innate lethality. Then we have Haas, who rejoins us from Siegfried mode, Storm, who rejoins us from Siegfried mode, and Arthur, who's rejoining us. Tekken misses 286% hits there, which is somewhat intentional. By the way, yeah, Levion has 16 attack speed. By the way, yes, Howard just one-armed a mercenary and a Myrmidon on enemy phase with an axe. Although, to be fair, I'm pretty sure that was a Steel Blade Myrmidon and an Iron Blade Mercenary. During this map, Howard's frailty really starts to show, because he takes a lot of damage. Would you want to talk about the boss real fast?
Yeah. The boss is a druid in the upper left corner of the map, and he has Elfire and Nosferatu, I believe.
Correct.
He will move if you enter his range.
Yes. The new unit we get on this map, Risk, one-rounds him as long as he's not standing in defensive terrain like a forest or a mountain, with the weapon that he joins with. Because he has exactly enough strength to do so. You might be wondering where Sean is. You'll see plenty of him next map, don't worry. That bishop is supposed to heal one of its allies, but for whatever reason it just decides not to. There are some times during this where I hesitate and check my notes because this is a somewhat long map, not turn-wise, but time-wise. And yet it's still shorter than the Path of Radiance enemy phase.
True.
This map may end up being Ash and Noah's last hurrah. Note that I said may. There are still some things that they can do because they're units that exist and have good combat stats. So if I ever need a flunky, I'll be using them. Ash's 17 strength is still very nice. That talk command for Kellic was with Levion, by the way, not with that shaman. Kellick's crit there was not necessary. He actually doesn't even need an evade. It just lined up to the point where it works. Kellick is slowly working on reaching one last benchmark until the end of the run. His last benchmark that he needs to reach, or I guess the last benchmark he needs to reach, because this is the last promise after all, is that he needs to reach A rank swords by some point in this run. It's not super urgent. He has basically the rest of the game to reach it. Liam takes Javelin from Anakin, who took it from Rex and uses it to one random mage. Le'Veon's bulk is absurd, but his magical bulk is less so. And it's not because his res is kinda bad. It's not, actually. I think he has like 12, 13, or 14 base res. It's that enemies here have a lot of attack. The Devil Axe fighter in this map... Oh, spoilers, there's a Devil Axe fighter. I never went over the Devil Axe in Chapter 10 where we could have fought it. But it's very scary. It is 28 might and 20 crit. I do want to talk about the maneuver disc there done by Karina, one running an archer at close range with a spear, instead of using a Silver Lance or Killer Lance. I guess I can go over it.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said, do you want to be maneuver there with one rounding an archer at close range with a spear instead of a javelin, Killer Lance, or Silver Lance? Although I guess to be fair...
you can go over it.
Hmm?
You can go over it.
Yeah. Shout out to this very reliable 37% hit, 27% crit from Ben. It was a mage on a mountain, not on a forest. There's a lot of terrain in this map, so flying units like Karina and Ben are very helpful to have. Even though their stats are kind of lacking, these enemies are not anywhere near as bulky as they were back in last map. In case you're wondering what the ranks for this run are looking like, for whatever reason, I decided to check them after finishing this map, and somehow I have 5-star tactics, 5-star combat, 5-star survival, 1-star experience, 2-star funds. And it's like, yeah, I wonder where the 1-star experience could come from. So to actually go over that maneuver with Karina equipping the spear, and it makes it so that every enemy that attacks her this turn gets countered, and it dissuades some enemies into attacking Ben instead of her. This is also the reason why she has the Delphi Shield and Ben doesn't. It's because, well, one, she needs to be able to take... she would have died if she didn't on this enemy phase. That's S-rank Lances, by the way. And two, it's so that an Air Caliber mage attacks Ben instead of her. That last mage that moved is the Air Caliber mage, if I recall correctly. That fighter that attacked Le'Veon used the Devil Axe. He has two weapons, a Devil Axe and a Hand Axe, and he drops one of them. Normally, you're only supposed to get the Hand Axe, but if you bait him into using the Devil Axe, you're supposed to, yeah, if you bait him into using the Hand Axe instead, you'll get the Devil Axe. Liam's chance of death this enemy phase is pretty high, honestly, but it just happened to work out. Again, reliability is not a word I've learned yet. I don't understand why this bishop used Physic from 2 range in a forest instead of just healing with a heal staff, but I'm not going to complain. Also, just a little note, after this turn I'm going to have to play a second movie file, because I will record this map in 2 parts, as I said. If you didn't believe me when I said this map took a long time-wise, I used the speed up button I used the speed up on the enemy phase, and it still took me around 15 minutes to complete this map. It's not fun. It wasn't fun to record, but it was pretty fun to play out, actually. That run was burnt just for both attacks to connect. Howard doesn't need to evade there because he doesn't get put at a low enough HP where he'd be at risk. During this turn, you will get to see an amazing sight, relatively soon. Because, yeah. Tekken is using the Silver Sword a bit here. We don't really need to set up a specific amount of uses on it, but it would be nice if we get a low-use Silver Sword for some point in the game. Lime gets another crit and gets a Steel Axe from this guy. He alternatively could drop a Steel Bow, neither is that helpful, but the Steel Axe gives more axe weapon experience. So, it's nice to have. Here we get to see Ash, a unit with D-rank swords, finish off a mage using an iron sword because it's his most accurate weapon.
Beautiful.
Anakin doesn't dance again until the final turn of this map. So for 5 turns, our dancer stays in place in an LTC. He was put there in order to potentially bait the Devil Axe fighter into attacking him. I hesitate a tiny bit here because I wasn't quite sure where I exactly should put Karina, but I just decided to move her 2 down and then have her use the elixir. It doesn't actually matter all too much, but it's still, but it just increases her chances of survival if she's put in the right position. That paladin, in theory, I believe could have attacked her if she stayed right next to Tekun. Arenza burnt set, I can get a 27% crit, 51% hit. Is it scuffed? Yes. But, you know, reliability. Eljo, I'm getting a quick drink of water. Would you want to talk about Risk for a second?
Yeah, again. So, Risk, you can see him there. He's a pre-promoted swordmaster, and he comes with a sword that actually allows him to one-round the boss, provided he's using the right weapon. He's gonna be seeing some use in a couple of chapters later on.
Yeah. His stats are just good enough in most areas. He does shortly get outclassed by a unit we get next map, actually, or 2 maps from now. Okay. I almost recorded a movie instead of hitting play.
Wait, is the recording continuing?
Yeah.
Okay.
No more unburns happen between those 2 movie files being recorded. I just, again, wanted to record them this turn by turn in different, what's it called? Yeah.
Okay.
Emma uses Emma, I forgot to mention this. Yeah, Emma brought along the physics staff that we bought last map. She uses, I believe, 4 uses of it during this map. We don't need every single use. We shouldn't need every single use of it. Compared to Tekun, by the way, Risk has, I believe that is, yeah, 15 more HP, 3 more strength, 10 more skill, 3 more speed. I believe that's 12 more luck, 1 more defense, I think that's 3, let me just check Tekun. Yeah, he has plus 15 HP, plus 3 strength, 10 skill, 3 speed, 15 luck, 3 defense, 7 res. In exchange, he doesn't have a potential support with Kellic, but like, oh no. Even the pre-promoted enemies on this map don't pose that much of a threat, because Levon was able to double a hand-axe paladin and one-round him with a silver sword. Which, yes, that is a strong weapon. It's still a promoted enemy. However, in some of the later chapters, especially chapters 24 and 25, enemies are going to become a lot more threatening, and bosses are going to become a lot less reliable. Risk's perhaps best trait is the C support with Ben. Ben's C support grants both of them +1 attack and also some extra hit, crit, and crit avoid. But all you really need to care about is the +1 attack. This means that Risk deals 20 damage with the Onigiri, which is a sword that ignores defense. Which, that is quite helpful. Also, since I didn't mention it, that sage that Liam killed dropped the Speedwing. It doesn't get used in this map, but it gets used next map. Although I haven't quite decided who it gets used on yet. In case you're wondering why dealing 20 damage flat with the Onigiri is helpful, with a crit that's 60 damage, and that's a huge chunk of any boss's HP. Or any enemy's HP, in fact. Onigiri crits actually one-shot every generic in the game, if I recall correctly. He also just has A-rank swords in general, so he can use every single non-legendary sword in the game, which I guess for us, he can use every single sword in the game, because we're not exactly getting the S-rank sword. These green units Cavaliers are not the best. They try their hardest. They're trying. I believe every single one of the original green Cavaliers that we got, that joins us at the start, perishes. Don't get too attached. Yeah, when I said that this chapter is mostly self-improvement, it is. Karina already had S-rank lances, which was a benchmark for this map, was a goal for this map. Second, sword rank no longer matters. Howard and Le'Veon want to work towards getting S-rank lances, S-rank axes rather, and A-rank lances on Howard, even though he doesn't use an lance at all this map. He gets enough opportunities to do it next map. We also get another unit after this map, but I'll be going into him next map because he is a unit that we don't get to use this map. That druid has a Solstice Tome, which is a renamed Luna Tome, with much higher accuracy, less hit, more accuracy, but no innate crit. It's a decent weapon. Howard goes there to bait out the boss, because there are 2 turns left in this map, and I want the boss to move closer, alongside some other enemies, in order to make self-improvement easier. Reminder that Ben is the unit who recruits Risk, so we need to keep him within 8 spaces of Risk at all times. This formation is a bit weird, but it basically ensures that every unit in that formation survives. Howard has a chance of death during this enemy phase, but it's not a super high one. Yeah, if Le'Veon had 1 more base speed, he would, 2 more base speed, he would be doubling a Cavalier while rescuing someone. Ligor has really shitty stats. He has like 9 defense, 36 HP. And then like 9 constitution with an Elfire and a Nosferatu tome, so he gets weighed down by both of his weapons. During this next enemy phase, actually, if he used Nosferatu, he would be doubled by Ben. To put that into perspective, how shitty his stats are. That sniper down there is a silver bow that we do not end up getting. This is the last major turn of the map. And again, it's mostly self-improvement. Yui has a heal just to heal Tekun and Howard once in this map. He does not need to reach any staff thresholds. It's just he has the magic to heal them up to full when needed, and it's saving me elixir uses because I'm running rather low on elixirs. There isn't much to talk about this map, so apologies.
Yeah, same.
Excuse me a moment.
No!
Sorry about that, I just got briefly interrupted. Yeah, these green units kind of suck, as I said. In my original RNG burn for this map, that green Cavalier got attacked by those 2 Cavaliers actually did survive. It survived every Cavalier, actually. So Illegal went for that Cavalier instead, which was rather funny. I didn't play the animations for anybody except Risk when it comes to killing the boss, because it doesn't particularly matter. They don't actually deal any damage. Yeah, here we get Arthur, Storm, and Liquid, and Haas back. Liquid has 18 strength, 18 speed, and he has innate lethality, alongside having A-rank axes. He's quite good. He'll be quite useful. Storm and Arthur are going to be working on a tiny bit of self-improvement in the upcoming maps, and they may or may not see promotion at some point. After this map, you may be wondering why we're using the Dragon Axe so willy-nilly. After this map, I'm like 90% sure that there are very few, if any, wyverns left. Because this is the last map where we're fighting, this is the last map in Blaine. I wanted to check damage to make sure that Risk actually did one round to this enemy, the boss, just to make sure he wasn't in a defensive tile. And because he wasn't, I was able to ignore the fact that I would probably need a tiny bit of chip from another ally, and just use all of my units to self-improve. How it works on getting Axe rank, Yua was originally, gets one more heal off. It doesn't really matter, it just means if he ever needs to use D-rank stabs, he could, in theory. I'm not quite sure if Levion could have reached one of the cows and didn't want to show it. You may recognize this boss theme. It plays for Mr. True Beauty himself, Intelius. This goes without saying.
And it only plays for this guy here.
Yeah, Risk's critical hit there was obviously not necessary. I cannot skip these cutscenes because it just means that I miss recruiting a unit, kind of like how you cannot skip the cutscenes in maps with guidons because you miss going to the guidons. I had to press the B button to skip through them all, instead of pressing start to skip all of them.
It's okay, I'm sure nothing important is happening anyway.
Well, story-wise, no, not really. Unit-wise, though, we get Brave Sword. If you think Harkin in FE7 is good, we basically just got Wyvern-mounted Harkin, who uses lances instead of axes. And instead of having 22 strength, he has 22 defense. I will be singing the praises of Leopold for many maps to come. This unit is absurdly strong. But anyway, thank you for watching. Chapter 22 may be a bit of a roadblock for a bit. Not as bad as Chapter 20 was. But it is a very funny chapter. Because Sean finally reaches his promotion level. And he doesn't reach his promotion level. Sean finally reaches his promotion, and he gets his upgraded personal weapon of Sylvan's. And because we did the Reaching the Heavens side quest, it is a 19 might, technically 22 might weapon, might brave weapon that grants, it's a 19 might brave weapon with 95 hit that grants +3 strength, speed, and defense to Sean. So even with his absolutely horrendous bases, I believe he has 9 strength, he has a 31 might, he has 31 attack with a brave weapon, which one-rounds a fair amount of generic enemies, including the boss of the next map. With overkill. Actually. I'm pretty sure that Sean one-rounds every single enemy on the next map because they do not have a defense plus HP total of greater than 62. Which is really funny.
Hey, there's no kill like overkill.
Exactly. And also, next map, another big problem with next map, every single enemy on it has silencer. A lot of enemies there have crit weapons, like there's a Killing Edge Thief, a Killing Edge Myrmidon, a Wodao Swordsmaster. So that's going to be fun. Yeah, anyway, thank you LG for joining me once again.
Thank you for having me here.
No problem. And then next time we go from playing we go backwards in the franchise, from playing Path of Radiance Enemy Phase to playing a map in the Tower of Volney from FE8. And in case you're wondering, yeah, I'm pretty sure it actually is just straight up ripped from the Tower of Volney. See you guys then.